Oh, I figured out when I was on Jamie's live from StreamYard how guests can see the comments.
No.
You have to, Chad.
What's up?
Do you see like an option on the left side of your picture where it looks like a little message thing?
It doesn't. I don't have anything.
It says what? Comments.
Turn it sideways and see if it pops up. It'll be on the left side. You might have to like tap the screen. And on the left hand side.
For you talking about like for comments?
Yeah, so you can see them.
Yeah, there's a button, but yeah, like that's above. Yeah.
Okay.
I got that.
Yeah, he could see the
We go live with other people and they always say that they can't, like, oh, we can't see the comments. So I thought that it wasn't a thing and then I figured it out.
Okay.
Because I'm never a guest. I'm usually here seeing it on the computer.
I was so irritated trying to change the shit over.
I tried to help him. He's like, don't talk. It's not going to help.
That's what I'm sitting there telling Robin. I'm like, oh, dude, this is like, they're rebuilding the studio, I think.
Yeah.
I literally, because our new interface that we have requires a different mic setup. And so we have like 3 of those mics and they're XLR to XLR mic inputs. And this is an XLR to 3.5 millimeter jack. So when I change it, I have to change everything.
So StreamYard, I mean, this is the one obviously that when we've done this stuff, but like, what else is there? Like, are there other, like, or is this like kind of the go-to? Is this the smoothest, the one that everybody's on? Like, I have no.
This is what I see the most is StreamYard.
Okay.
Now there's again, there's other plenty of other things out there, but I wouldn't know much about it because I use StreamYard.
Yeah, that's what everybody like.
And this is what I see. All the big people are using StreamYard.
It's the same thing. I'm doing Josh's show, Scar Nation, tomorrow night, and it's the same deal. StreamYard link.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. So all right, we got some people hopping back on. Sorry for our technical difficulties.
I was supposed to go tag Russell, and
we had to rebuild the studio, according to Chad.
True story.
Oh, hi, Dad.
Oh, I was like, I forgot. I was looking at Chad's camera, and I was like, "Where'd it go?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to
share it out. Let me share it out too.
You share it, man, and just tag me, and just because it's not like I. Oh Lord, I'm getting off Facebook because it's all right before I lose everything.
Yeah. I got you.
What is your dad joke today?
Hi, Dad.
Dad joke.
My dad's in the comments.
Her dad's in the comments, and he has a dad joke every time he's on.
Okay.
The hell was that? Sound like an ostrich.
Dad, it's same name this week, just a different Chad.
He said an ostrich.
So why do I need a fishing license when I can't even drive a fish? Sheesh.
Oh, that's good.
Last week it was, what position makes ugly babies?
What position makes ugly babies?
Mm-hmm. Ask your mother.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's that's the dad joke where I'm like, damn. Afterwards,
yeah.
It's like,
just a little bit.
Yeah, that was a hard jab.
Did you tag Russell?
I tried, but I can't get to his profile. I went back, I looked at his profile picture.
Let me see.
I'm sure should be able to pop it back on.
I'm not friends with him, so like all the Russell Hamiltons are popping up.
What do I need to do? Like, how do I what am I doing with him? I can get him.
So you can tag him in the comments. You can leave a comment on this. You can interact.
But he's doing this from the phone.
Yeah. So there's an option that you can tap on. It says like interact or leave a comment. Interact, I think it says.
If he hops on, he hops on.
He hops on. Yeah, we'll just.
You should see it. We're gonna get into it 23 minutes later.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Yeah. So like I was saying before. Oh, bro. Do you know what else I realized? Oh, Lord. Anyway, so like I said before, we just kind of picked the topic and did it right off the top of our head, and this is something that Chad and I have had this conversation before, and we're actually going to do some short form content, and we're going to get it.
Oh, there we go, Robin.
Okay, Robin tagged Russell in it.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
Well, we're going to do some short form content, and we're going to get nitty gritty about the prison system and whatnot. And so this is kind of just
That
like,
might be a little more. That one might be a parental discretion
yes,
advisory type.
Yeah.
that's going to be like no censorship, viewer discretion, listener discretion type. This right here is just kind of a little, little prequel into it.
I like it.
So
I've got views on it, but I was only in jail and juvie.
Well, I mean, jail. That's what I tell. Because people will be like, "Damn, Chad, you did all those years," and I'm like, "Well," and they're like, "I only did 6 months." And my always reflex response is, "Bro, 6 months is way too long." You know what I mean? Like if you've
Yeah.
ever done time, it doesn't matter.
And I lucked out because one of the counties that I had charges in, it's 16 and over for the jail, and I was 16. So I went to jail in one county, and then I had charges in another county, so I got transferred to their juvie from
So
jail.
did you EOS from whatever county you were in and finish your sentence, and then they came and got you?
So yeah, I had a dollar bail,
Okay.
and my mom, after about 6 months, finally came down and paid that dollar bail.
$1?
Yes, $1.
Why the fuck would they even bother charging?
Because another county had a hold on me, and that's just what they do.
Yeah, that just to lock it, just locks it in. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just
Instead of just
formality.
releasing me, because if I didn't have a bail, they could just release me. But
Yeah.
they, whatever. It was
Bro, that was a
stupid.
moment. I'm in the courtroom and they dropped me a $400,000 bond, and I was like,
Yeah.
you could
Can't
hear
imagine.
the air just suck out of the entire courtroom because it was like, okay,
Yeah.
that's 4 times higher than the highest estimate we were told. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna be sitting here for a while.
Recently, not this past December, the December before, I got picked up on a warrant that I was at my attorney's office on a Monday, and the warrant was issued before then, and they didn't even tell me about it.
That's how that usually works.
And it would have been a lot better if I turned myself in. Instead, I got picked up on the warrant, and it was right after Christmas, and I had a $5,000 cash bail, and thank the Lord, my brother and my sister-in-law had the money, and they bailed me out. Right after Christmas, too. Like, who has fucking an extra $5,000 right
Well-
after Christmas? Just laying around.
So, I want to get into some nitty gritty. I got a question.
Yeah.
All right, so when it comes to the gangs, all right, so
Why is...
what? Why
Oh,
is
that
what?
was the old live.
So all right. So you know how out on the street, the different street gangs, they're rivals. When you go into prison, is that just street shit, and do they just kind of just do their thing, or are they still like clicked up in there? Like, yeah, you got like, you got the Mexicans and you got the blacks and you got this and that, but like,
Bro, listen, like I've been in this will paint a pretty picture. I've been in, we do like football game going on, something like that. A bunch of us will get together and do this big ass goulash. We cook, and I've been in goulashes, bro, eating a meal, sharing a meal with a Crip, a Blood, a Vice Lord, a Latin King. We're all just riding out, eating, hanging out together. Now, to answer your question, I think the truest form to that is, yeah, I don't, the whole business to business, like hand to hand transactions. I think it's technically supposed to be frowned upon. Like you don't, do business with not even a rival gang, just another set, just another clique. But Florida's different though, bro. Florida's like, man, it's just, there's some states that a Blood and a Crip can't live together for obvious reasons. Dude, Florida, it's just a melting pot with every ingredient gang you can in a room, and it's like somehow, unless there's serious beef, bro, it's just pretty chill.
Yeah, like Arizona is one of those where like they won't even be in the same fucking airspace together,
I mean, most of the states are like that, man. California's certainly not.
California, yeah. It's just great, like one of my favorite movie all time is Blood and Blood Out, and I remember, no, and this is what led me to think of that question.
This guy watches it like 4 times a month.
More than that. There's times I'll probably watch that movie like every other day. So, anyways, but this is why it made me think about it, was because Miklo, they were part of, Vatos Locos, and then the what is it, Tres Puntos is what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
But then,
yeah, yeah.
when he goes to prison for killing, Spider and all that, like they're all, they're Hispanics and they're different gangs, but they were all jumped in with each other. And so, and then that's when they were like, no, like that's street shit. Like in here, like we joined forces to like be stronger, and I didn't know.
It's a numbers game, bro, and strength is always in numbers. But dude, it's like, dude, the Spanish, bro, the Spanish clique, man, it's just different with Spanish guys. Like they take care of their own, and it doesn't matter what flag you're waving or what you're banging. It's when something goes down and it's a Spanish community situation, they're all tied in, bro. They take care of each other. It's cool. Like you see a new gain or new entry, however you say it, whatever state, but you got somebody that's fresh in. You always see a couple Spanish guys go into their own, making sure that he has hygiene, man, giving him deodorant, soap, making sure that he's got something to eat for a couple nights. Like they set each other up and take care of each other. It's like, bro, for the most part, like the white boys like us, it's just like everybody's just kind of like fend for yourself, unless you're, in a certain clique or gang or whatnot. But
What?
there's no like camaraderie with any other race like there is with the Spanish guys.
What are you gonna say?
He said white like us, but Jared's not white.
Well,
He's Mexican.
I'm half white though, still.
I mean, like us, like me.
Listen, I would have been the one to say
you'd be-
something, and you did.
You'd go straight in, bro, and you'd have a welcome party, bro.
Listen, but I'll tell you this.
They'd have you souped up.
I will tell you this 100%. Like, I always was curious, man, if I went to prison, like, who would I go with? I'm like, do I go with the Mexicans? Do I go with the whites? Like, what do I do?
And,
I always thought that, seriously.
and bro, it's like, it just like depends on your vibe, like what you're into, what type of personality traits. But like, you find a groove,
And
dude,
he'd go with the Caucasians.
You can hang with anybody, man. Like, I've I mean, if Russ or anybody else is on here, people know, like, I've been in like gambling business agreements with high-ranking Latin kings on compounds I've been in, and and then I've also partnered up with Bloods, and it's just kind of like, it's just a thing, man. Like, what when you interact, that's you and that person. It's specific to that interaction. Now, when gang scenarios apply, politics, beef, all that other stuff, it's like you're just like, whoop, it just all goes around you. You don't. And it's tricky. It's tricky. Like, you've got guys that, in Florida and in most states, I'm a neutron. It means you're neutral. You're not a gang member. You're not affiliated.
Right.
So, well, what you see happening though is you see somebody who is affiliated, but they buddy up with a neutron, and then a situation happens that's escalated to violence, and he ends up having to flip or book or whack or latch or whatever terminology you want to use. He ends up having to do in his quote unquote buddy, because the buddy violated another brother in the gang for some reason, and that's how that works. So that's the deadly game. Part of it is that your best friend can be the one that cooks you in the end, and it's just something, and it's one of those things that it's kind of like he doesn't have a choice, because if he doesn't cook you, he's getting cooked. And usually when I say cooked, you're getting wet, you're getting stabbed.
Yeah.
And that's the whole term in there, is that when things are really, really bad, a person will get green lit, and typically the whole thing is, the instructions are, we want to see him airlifted. And that's, you can kind of draw that picture in your head, but that's when that Trauma Hawk helicopter touches down on inside the fences on a rec yard or just in an open space, and somebody gets life flighted. But that's the name of the game, and
Bye, Dad.
Politics.
See you later.
Politics are everything. And I just caught the phone flipping down off the table.
And like I said, and we'll get like deep into it when we do this content we're gonna do.
Oh yeah.
But are you did you ever get pressed? And like I said, give us the PG version. I want to get like the big shit for later.
Dude,
Did he ever get pressed?
I like to say I was the type of inmate that I towed the line. Like, for the most part, I try to mind my business and stick to myself and whatnot. But then, the other hand and the
Quit
truth
hitting the microphone, please.
is the is. Can you hear me?
At least I
Yeah,
didn't hit
she's
you.
banging the
Oh,
microphone
thank
and
you.
it fucking hurt my
But no,
ears.
being completely transparent. Like, man, like I said, I ran a gambling business on virtually every compound I lived on. So you can imagine, there's so much that goes into that, and a lot of it is political. And it's there, when you say pressed, I'm assuming you mean like if I tried to been put down on or
Yeah, you
pressured.
get you get punked. Anyone try to fucking
When I first fell, and this is we're talking about very early 2010. Uh, there was a situation where a bag of coffee was taken off my bed. I wrote a story about this, and it's on social media, and it reads like a novel, man. It's crazy, but a bag of coffee was stolen. And I'm so fresh and so green, like I don't know how to I don't know how to address the situation. So I stepped to someone, who I'd kind of been vibing with a little bit, and who had been giving me a little bit of game, and I'm like, hey, bro, look, I know for a fact I had another bag. It's gone. I checked my receipt. I've triple checked around my bed. It's gone. Somebody got it. He's like, bro, this is how this works. He's like, you got to put the dorm on blast. Attention to the dorm, and it literally is that. It's you just, hey, everybody shut up, attention to the dorm, and you say what you got to say. And in prison, stealing it's the cringiest thing you can do. We don't. It's not tolerated in dorms I've lived in. It's never been tolerated. There are serious consequences if it's
yeah.
violated. You are made an example on a very, very crazy level. But that being said, this was my first situation, and it was like all I could think in my mind was, okay, dude, I know what I look like. I'm a smaller white guy. I'm not covered in tattoos. You can look at me and tell that, hell, I look skittish. And so in my mind, I'm like, damn, is this the type of time I'm about to have to start doing? Like, is this the first time that I'm being tried? Is this going to be like a repetitious thing? But and the crazy thing is, I call the dorm out, and then I'd give the whole announcement, like, okay, cool, you got me. If I find out who it is, you know what time it is.
Yeah.
Well, I go to bed that night. I wake up in the morning. They go to breakfast, and a dude that I mess with, he slides up on me, and he's like, "Hey, bro," he's like, "It's almost been completely validated, but we know who got it." And it was a younger dude, and he is my dude that I was talking with the situation about. Is from Fort Lauderdale, so of course he's tied in all these things. So it's like he's like, bro, this is how it works. He goes, when he comes in, bro, you take him in the bathroom. We'll shut it down. You got to give him one regardless. I was like, okay. So of course chest, heart beating, like here we go. Haven't had any instances like this. And they come back from breakfast, and I tell dude, hey, let me holler at you for a minute, go to the bathroom, and I call him on it, and the first thing it is he's like, you just tried me, I didn't steal, I ain't no thief, and he swung on me first. We fight a little bit, it gets broke up. I like to think I got the better of him a little bit, but wasn't nobody got hurt. Well, here's the deal, that wasn't good enough, so they got me to leave the bathroom, and 3 or 4 of them went in there and gave him everything he could imagine that he wanted. So,
Yeah.
needless to say, half an hour later, he comes, out bloody, beaten, and a whole different human being at that point. Like, so I don't know, maybe like an hour, 2 hours goes on. Now it's still early morning. Uh, I'm sitting on the bunk. I'm still, kind of. I don't know if I'm gonna have to fight this kid again. I don't know anything, bro. I'm scared, and I'm just like, and dude, during that whole time, it's like those are the moments where I was like, this can't be my bro. I can't live like this, man. I'm not a savage at heart like this. Like I don't want to have to constantly be doing. But you don't. You have no choice, bro. And that's a tough, hard, nasty pill to swallow. But you got to swallow it. So I'm
Right.
sitting on the bed. I'm trying to regroup. This guy slides up on me now. I got a bunkie that sleeps next to me. He's an old guy. When I mean old, he's like prison old. He's in his 70s, early 70s, late 60s. And
Is that not
the
old
guy
outside
said,
of
hey,
prison?
what's that?
I said, is
Yeah.
that not old outside of prison?
Well, I mean, it's just even in prison, like late 50s. You're unk. Like I got out
Uh,
right before I was unk, so I don't know. Like you're toeing the line, but it's
DJ Unk was walking
slippery
it
slope
out.
with age. With age, yeah, I did not want to be an uncle because it's like, dude, I can't be. I came in a kid and now I'm leaving an uncle, so it's like,
what?
dang.
At least
But so,
you are
so
not,
this,
not. At least you're not like an uncle, grandpa.
well, yeah, thank God. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them that started off as JIT, and they'll be the elder statesmen in the dorm. They'll be, they will be grandpa, and that's crazy to live your entire existence in
Yeah, that's
that
unfortunate.
manner. But look, here's this guy comes up to me. He's like, Chad, I know you had some stuff going on, bro, and I'm not trying to aggravate you, but he's like, man, the portrait the old guy drew. He was really good. He drew me a portrait, and this guy's like, hey, can I look at the picture that he drew you? And I'm just like, yeah, bro, yeah, but I said I'll get it out in a little bit. And he said, what'd you? He goes, you gave him a bag of coffee for that, right? I said I didn't give him anything. What do you mean? So, bro, as soon as I said it to myself, I thought and I said, oh shit, dude, that kid just absolutely wore one. While all this is going on, the old man that sleeps behind me, he snagged the bag of coffee. He transferred. He was leaving. Every morning when there's a transfer, they'll come over the intercom like 28 low or bunk 52, pack it up. I'm so preoccupied with what's going on with my beef in this situation. This old guy here nabbed my bag of coffee, and he slid on out transfer. And I would have known this the day before, like this whole thing would have been avoided. But a kid got beat up for no reason
Oh,
when the old man got the bag. But I mean, to go back to have I been pressed? That's like, I've never been. And if Russ is in the channel, whatever in this, like, I know anybody can say I can say anything, because nobody can verify it.
right.
There's guys that live in that dorm with me, and I was the type of inmate where I carried myself in a way where those problems were not problems for me.
Yeah.
Now I have seen it so bad and just so egregious, like I cannot fathom like how somebody is existing like that. Like guys getting woke up in the morning that weren't going to go to breakfast, but the guy who's putting down on them is like, bro, get up, get your ass dressed. You going to breakfast? I'm getting you tray. And they're doing this every meal, where the dude doesn't even get a meal. So he's scrummaging around or scourging around the dorm, trying to come up with a soup late at night because he's giving all his food away throughout the day. Like I'm talking about on that level. They go to the store and the guy's got his list made out first, and like, hey, if you got something left over, get you, but you better come back with this. And it's bro, and the bad thing is, man, and here there's a trick to it. If when you're new and you're scared and you're fresh in, bro, you want to be, and I see it. You want to be passive. You want to be non-confrontational. You even want to be agreeable, even if it's something you don't really truly agree upon. Just because you don't want to create, you want that conflict barrier around you. Like I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. You're still trying to figure it all out. So, but what happens is people get played on, and at first it comes in as it's a real finesse game. They come in like, hey, where you from? Oh yeah, I used to live blah blah blah. Yeah, hey, why don't you kick it with me? And it starts off where the new guy thinks, oh well, this is going to be a friend, like this is okay. Well, no, he just opened a door that he don't even realize he opened, and he swung it open. And the first time he says no, that entire dynamic will change completely, and it'll be a straight put down. Like, hey, this ain't up for discussion. You hit that window, you get my list. Like it's dirty, it's nasty.
Yeah.
But here's the deal: if you feel that, if you even have an inkling that someone is trying to work that angle on you, you have got to puff your chest, bro. Even if it means you got to get back there with them and fight, but you have to set a standard when it comes to you, because if it happens once,
it's gonna happen again.
You're baked chicken, baby. You are. It's just nothing but a room full of wolves looking at you, going, "There he is."
Even if you get your ass beat, at least stand up.
Bro, no, yeah, and trust me, bro. And you get even if you get go back there and get wore out, bro. They still the respect levels, like, bro. That white boy will handle up. Like, nah, he ain't no pushover. You ain't gonna take it from him, and that's what you have to do. The bad thing is, if you're like me, if you're like so many people, so many guys that I did time with that aren't naturally wired in that way, it fucks with you, for better, excuse my language, but it does, bro. And even now, all these years later, I'm dealing with so much of, having to live with my chest out and being very vocal. And bro, I'm the dude in the room when it's 7 o'clock count and there's issues in the dorm. Oh, it's Chad. They bring it to. Hey, Chad, address the dorm, bro. You know how to talk to everybody. And I've got just enough respect that, I'll catch the ears, and the powers that be will come together. We'll work it out. The powers that be are gang members. But I'm a neutron that's just outside of that circle because I've earned that level of respect to where it's like, okay, Chad, most of the dorms I've lived in, man, like, not me saying it, other people will be like, man, that's Chad's house. That's his but like, because I'm doing bunk transfers and I've got pool with staff and I've got my gambling business that's known, and dude, it's shitty, man. But I learned how to do it, and I learned how to do it good. And here I am out now, and it's like, dude, a lot of times I still get caught up in, it's like, damn, I can turn that switch off. I don't have to be that anymore. I don't have to play that part. But it's hard, bro. It's taken me, all these months out here to still, to even grasp that, damn, I'm operating like that still because I did it. And that was default for so long that it's become a part of who I am. And that's the shittiest part of prison, man, is it requires you to be somebody you may not naturally be, but you don't have a choice. You don't have a choice if you don't want the shittiest time you could have. And, nobody wants to do time like that, man. I saw it. Dude, my heart would hurt some nights, like, and I'd sneak over sometimes and slide somebody a superfood because I know he gave all his food away. I just try to give him that pep talk. I'm like, bro, I know you don't want to do it, but you've got to stand up for yourself, bro. Tell him no. And I was like, dude, he's probably going to beat your ass, but it'll stop. But you can't just keep laying down and saying, yeah, every time he tells you to do this, you jump up and do it out of fear. That's what he's playing on. He knows you're scared to death of him. And I'll listen for 2 seconds, and then I'll watch it happen again in the morning. I'm like, I can't do nothing with that shit. It's like, I can't play Captain Save a Dude. So,
Your nickname should have been Jimmy since you were a neutron.
uh, bro, listen to this. This is how crazy this is. It was started like at the work camp on the latter part of my sentence, but they started calling me the mayor. So I'm going around the compound. I'm with my boss, and these are staff. I was a security orderly. So I worked around the decision making administration for the compound, and I do caustics and do all these different things, but I'll be going around the compound, and I've got a white shirt or a sergeant that I'm with, and here you got an inmate saying, "Hey, there's the mayor," and it's making them go, what are you doing in here? And it's just like, oh Lord. But it's just I had to toe that line because I was, quote unquote, I was like the token inmate because I did do a lot of good, bro. I lived and I built a reentry program in 2014 for guys that had 36 months or less, bro. I still had a decade then, so
Yeah.
I'm putting together self-betterment programs, and we're coming together on classes, and I'm living in a dorm with guys that are all getting ready to go home. So it's like, that made me feel good, but it also made me, it was kind of twofold because you can't help, bro, but be envious. Hearing a dude say, I go home in 2 months.
Yeah.
And I used to hate when people would be real reluctant, especially when I come in, I've got a 15-year sentence. So, even if I still got 9, 10, 11 years left, people would feel a certain type of way if they're like, oh yeah, 90 days, I'm going to be doing this around. And I'd hear them say like, Chad, bro, I'm not trying to rub it. And I'd stop them right there and be like, whoa. I ain't that inmate for one. Like, bro, I want to see everybody go home. That's going to be me one day. So no, don't think that you got to like tiptoe around that because you feel bad. I got 9 years left. I said, it is what it is. We all have our own bid to do. And I was like, that's what you did yours. I'm doing mine. But no, bro, by all means, hang out on that because this shit sucks and this shit's not real. Real's on the other side of the fence. And let's act accordingly. But that was the real fragile thing, man. The short timers were always walking on eggshells around, the dudes that had calendars left to do decades, so it was, really, really, dude, slippery slope. The whole life in prison is just, you are one step at all times away from complete chaos or just super easy time. And there's really no middle ground. One misstep, dude, and you end up on a trauma hawk, or, you learn how to walk that rope and you tightrope your way through a problem-free. I can count on, well, a little bit over one hand how many fights that I got in. Dude, I did 13 calendars. Most guys that do 13, bro, they don't leave without getting that steel in them. They get cut, they get stabbed. That's just too much time. You're exposed to way too many scenarios where you could get yourself in a situation where it could be dire. But, and I like to hang my hat on that, bro. Like and I towed the line. You know what I mean? I dealt with gang members. I put myself in situations that could have been terribly, terribly bad. And, God's grace, I walked through it. But we're talking about gangs, man. Gangs run the prison. It's like you get in line and, but, they're the ones that they have all the dope. They have the power. They have the connects. It's everything. and you just kind of, you stay as far away from that mess as you can, because when it pops off, it pops off. And I've been in dorms and been on compounds where it's popped off, and it's scary, bro. It's scary as
Yeah.
shit. Like, you don't, the whole friendly fire thing, like, you worry about that. You're like, damn, am I going to walk? I know that there's beef in this dorm, and it's like my bunk's in the back, and every night when the light's out, I go to the bathroom, I got to walk back by. They could be back there getting it, and all of a sudden, somebody's swinging a lock back in a bag and swings back and hits me in the head. That's always on your mind, bro. You could get caught some friendly fire or some just casualty of war type deal.
Yeah. And if anybody's watching this now or on the replay, Chad shared his episode or his story on the podcast or some months back, so you can actually go check it out. TheBlacklistPodcast.com, and he shares his story on what led him there and a little bit.
If y'all haven't, if this is your first interaction with Bree and Jared, y'all need to get on, follow the Blacklist. There's somebody like now I consider they're family, man. Jared reached out to me, had nothing to gain from it, said, hey man, I've been kind of following what you're doing. I got a podcast, I'd like to get you on it. But it was so much more than that. The show was awesome. That was like so humbling that it was like, damn, like people want to talk to me about stuff and experiences, but just this type of dude who for no reason like knows that I've been gone away from social media. I left the streets rolling a ball on a BlackBerry. I come home, I've got an iPhone 14 in my hand. I don't have a damn clue what's going on. I don't know nothing about social media. I don't know nothing. And this guy's like, as much as he could, just giving me nuggets and laying little trails out for me to follow so I can kind of put myself together. And it's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know that I would have been able to even be, have the reach or be able to even have a chance to make an impact if it wasn't for him. And, Bree's really relatable to me when she talks about, her battle and really now her victory with alcohol. It's like so much of me in her struggle and, those low points. And it's like, I just get kind of cringe, that chilly feeling, because I know I've lived it, but it's so good to link up with people who, we've been in different places, but, Jared's lived a wild, wild West life. Like I can't even fathom how, he tells me stories and I've even heard the stories. I want to hear them again just because I cannot imagine myself being in those types of environments and, scenarios. But yeah, y'all follow, man. Do that. Do me a solid and follow Blacklist.
I follow Chad too.
Yeah, follow me. Follow me.
Right.
Chad's tagged in the comments too.
Yeah. I got a two-parter.
Okay.
The other Chad's here now too.
Oh, this guy, he's my partner,
Yeah,
man. 3, 4, 5 years in the same dorm with me, man.
Oh, damn. I was going to say, I didn't think
Shout out to Nashville.
Chad, I didn't think you were going to show up today because I thought you were chilling with the fucking orcas tonight. He shared his, so Chad Valier, he's, I can't. Anyways, he was speaking at a, Orkna.
Oh, this is a different Chad. Okay.
Yeah, Chad Valier. Yeah, not you.
Gotcha.
But,
no, I thought there's another Chad. And he's on my friends, and he actually he did 5 years with me.
Yeah, no,
I got you now.
This is my buddy Chad Valier. He's in Canada, and he was at an event tonight, and it's called an Orkna event, and I thought he was at an Orca event.
Orca, okay, we're saving whales, Orca.
No, there's an N in it.
I got it. I caught it now.
So
all the way up in Canada, man, the top north. What is that they call Canada?
The Great North.
America, or the United States top hat?
I don't know. I think they call them the Great North, doesn't it? The Great White North.
The Great White North.
I think that's what Donna from Hard Knocks says it's called.
I like it.
So all right. So because these kind of go hand in hand. So what's the reality of a dirty CO smuggling contraband, but 2, to follow that up with is people for some reason have this opinion that you get arrested, you go to prison, you can't do drugs. We clearly know that is furthest from the truth.
Man. I made a joke, man. The dorm that I left, the day I left prison, there was more methamphetamine in that wing, and not the whole dorm, the wing of that dorm than there is anywhere in these blocks that I live in now.
Yeah.
Like, that's the reality of prison in Florida.
Yeah. So with that being said, and again, even though I've personally have never been, I've had through my wild life, various people, and the stories are just crazy. So yeah, people think, oh yeah, he's gonna go to prison and get sober because he can't use drugs, and we know that's not accurate.
Oh man.
So in a short, because this is something I want to get deeper into when we do our other content. Um, is there? I don't know. Okay, maybe I don't know if other states are worse, but I don't know about Florida. But what are there dirty COs that are smuggling contraband in, and how is the drug market into the prison?
Bro, I mean, the real question is there a world anywhere in Florida, universe, wherever, where there's not dirty COs? That's the real question. So yeah, absolutely. And here's the nastiness of that whole deal, bro, is that Florida, you know, the system has changed through a generational shift. It was like, I mean, I even saw it when I first went in. It was like, you'd see weed, and here and there you'd see pills and things like that. But it was, bro, it wasn't prevalent. Like there'd be, you'd hear about things coming, and then you just pay attention, see things, dude. In like a 5 year period, then here comes the synthetics, man. And in K2 Spice, what you guys know,
Yeah.
we call in the Florida chain gang, it's Tunchi, Twack, Gook. That's when that drug came in, prison was never the same again. But
Really?
here's the deal: these young COs, 19, 20, they lowered the age. It used to have to be 20 to be a CO, and now it's 18, 19. You
Yeah.
come in, and I turn. She turned the light on. I can't. It's like,
You can't
yeah,
see.
sorry, babe. Anyway, you they come in, they get this job. They're making $22, $20 an hour. But for a kid, that's good.
Right.
But
Mhm.
they're
18-year
fresh.
olds. Yeah.
They left working at Hardee's, so their previous experience was a normal
Flipping
quote
burgers.
unquote job, flipping burgers. Now they're responsible for some of the most dangerous people in the state they reside in. So
Right.
these guys smell it and sniff it like as soon as it comes in, and you got somebody, a playmaker, somebody that's got money and can make moves, pulls up on them and says, "Hey man, I don't know if you want to make some change." But first he buddies them up, and it's the whole finesse game, and then boom, he drops the question, he tries them, and it's like, hey, if I could put something in your hands, and every cell phone you bring in, I could cash app you or wire you $1,000. It's like, man, come on, man, you can pay the house off with that,
Yeah.
and it
And I
gets
don't
so
realize,
enticing.
they've got something to hold over your head to make you keep doing that, or
Oh
else,
Yeah. That
yeah,
leverage.
what's over their head is
Blackmail.
we'll get you from in here, like
Yeah.
yeah,
that's the whole deal, is the pressure.
they
But
don't realize you gotta get something on them too. It goes both ways.
so Florida, so this is the funniest thing, dude. Just several years ago, Florida brings in this consulting firm, and their one job is to come in and mathematically, from a numbers standpoint, percentages and things, figure out where the contraband, where the drugs, the phones, where it's coming in. Because they wanted to take our in-person visits. They've already determined from a psychological standpoint, psychology says that the person-to-person family interaction is the best recipe for positive, successful reentry for an inmate. Dude, it is like, it's as important as air. They want to take that because it's the hand-to-hand interaction. That's where the drugs are coming in. So they do this whole profile uh, consulting project. Bro, you want to guess what percentage of drugs and contraband come in through the visiting park at Florida State institutions?
I'm gonna say like 2%, 3%.
3%.
Wow.
3% of all. And when I tell you, when they do when they do dorm like sweeps, like real shakedown sweeps, they bring in X-ray machines. They're running the mats through these X-rays. I'm talking, they tear in anything that can be bolted off the wall. They're tearing it off to check. Dude, when they get done with that, man, it looks like a cell phone kiosk store in a mall. There's so many wireless devices. So you can imagine the level of contraband drugs, ounces of street ounces of Molly, meth, the most potent K2 that you've ever seen. The type that, they're putting a little sprinkle on, a little bit with some tobacco in it on some brown napkin that's painted with wet instant coffee and dried out. Just a tiny sprinkle will make a human being turn colors you've never fathomed. I've seen people turn
Hmm.
green, like literally alien green. They'll hallucinate. They'll go into convulsive seizures. They'll projectile foam vomit. So there's this kind of drugs, and it's that level, but only 3% of it verified is coming in through visitation. Where's that 97% coming? So the question is, dirty COs. It's
Yeah.
more prevalent than you think. They do, bro, but they got game just like the inmates. It throws you off sometimes when we see COs get busted for trying to bring stuff in, and you're like, oh my damn, they were moving stuff like it just doesn't fit the profile.
Right.
But yeah, like, bro, it comes in like through work camps. Guys go out, work on crews. Things are orchestrated. Packages are put in places, brought in. It's dude. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do, what parameters in place, the level of security. They're going to find a way around it. They're going to rewire the system and make it work to them. And I'd love to say that I was exaggerating about the amount of meth that was in the dorm when I left, but I wasn't, man. And let
Yeah.
me tell you, when that bomb comes in, everybody's a little more on edge because now you're in a very volatile environment. Throw methamphetamine in there. Now guys are not eating, and now they're not sleeping for days. So they're starting to. So it's funny because you'll see two buddies get together. They go in on a sack. They start getting high. They're friendly. Well, 3 or 4 days with no sleep, they start getting weird. Next thing you know, they're staying completely away from each other. And the frog just jumped on my leg. That was crazy. I was like, what in the world?
Only in fucking Florida. You said
Only in Florida, bro.
You either get a frog on your leg or a damn alligator in your
Or a
backyard.
lizard.
But it's yeah. Then all of a sudden now they're both strapped with their knife and they're both like looking at each other suspicious, like the other one's about to go in on the other one. But it's insane. But it's the cops will come in. They're like, we've been watching the cameras and we're gonna have to come in here and get these drugs out of here because some of y'all hadn't slept in days. Like, bro, you're on camera. It's a movie. 24 hours a day, the cameras are rolling. So I don't know what people's vision of like dorm life is, but the idea of like an addict coming into prison and it being a safe haven where they can, quote unquote, hop on that road to recovery and get clean, bro. It's if anything now, all of your distractions, everything's gone. You're in a shitty world where it revolves around dope and, whatever, hustles. And so you don't have, it can be a recipe for disaster for somebody with a crazy addiction because they can jump right in and it can be worse in prison than it is on the street. But,
Because there's less to do. There's less to
See,
occupy your mind and your time.
there's nothing to do in
So
Florida.
you gotta.
He could have been like Ian Bick. So like Ian, when he was on our show, like he was able to luck out
Shout out
because
to Ian Big.
he was in Kansas at a federal thing, and instead of them smuggling drugs, these fuckers are smuggling in cheeseburgers and McDonald's and Taco Bell and shit.
Right?
Like holy shit.
I was telling my girl's daughter earlier a story about because she was eating pizza and I made a joke. I said, I was like, there was a time where I had gotten like 2 or 3 slices of Papa John's pizza. I was gonna eat it and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take it back in the dorm. Dude, I ended up I was like trying my hardest to like not do this to the people, but they were so adamant that they were paying $15 for a slice of pizza, and it's just like.
But see,
I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this to you, but yeah, go grab those 3 bags of coffee and throw them on my bed. You can get that.
Yeah.
But see, you can be in a institution where they're smuggling in food, or you could be in an institution where they're fucking smuggling in drugs.
They're most likely smuggling with drugs there, but it wasn't
Right, but
the main thing.
yeah, their main thing was literally, jumping the fence and going and getting freaking fast food.
Well, man, the worst. Yeah, and see, that's awesome though. And I don't know what level. I know he did Fed time, totally different. I got a good friend of mine. Hassan. We've talked about Hassan.
Yeah, I still got him trying to get him on.
We're gonna get him on. Bro, he's moving and shaking, man. I can't pin him down anymore like I used to. Like he's 100 miles an hour, but bro, he's changing this community. So
yeah.
Shout out Hassan Hills and Youth Left Behind. Incredible. But dude, he did 20, and he did it, dude, in level 7. I'm talking about federal penitentiaries where you hit that yard, you got a knife, you got to get down. Like you get with your certain car. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. You're gonna put in work like everybody else. Like it's insane. Like I've done time at some really shitty prisons and institutions in Florida. That would be Candyland compared to level 7 penitentiaries where you're talking about nobody in there has less than 20, bro. Ain't nobody going home, dude. The stakes are as high as you can imagine. So it's like, God, there is, just like you said it before, different thing. There's levels to everything, and it's like, God, thank God, I had to do what I had to do, and you know. But I make a joke about it, man, because people look at me and they're like, "Damn, Chad, you probably had it rough." I was like, "Well, Wikipedia Santa Rosa. It is notorious Florida's roughest institution, and
Wow.
that's not me. That's Wikipedia.
I
Yeah.
just thought of a human
That was
centipede
9
when you
years. That
said
was
that.
home. What's that?
I thought of is it called centipede or human centipede?
Human centipede.
Human centipede when you said that.
Human Centipede.
You ever see that movie?
I don't know how I've even said. What is it? That's an old movie, right?
Yeah.
It's a movie that where this fucking person stitches someone's face to their ass and he makes a centipede and they basically like he tortures
With all
them
the
that way.
inmates. It cuts down the cost on food, so he feeds the person in the beginning, and then they're all stitched together. So
Stitched face to ass. So then at
he
the
feeds
very
one
end,
person, and
shits
they
out.
shit it out, and feeds the next person, and he was cutting cost.
That's
You gotta
disturbing.
watch it. You gotta
Yeah,
watch it
I've
now. I
watched
think
it.
there's like 4 of them.
Out of like pure, I don't know, like crazy curiosity, I've got to at least take a peek at that. Human Centipede.
Yeah.
But like
Nope.
you're saying, like that, it's kind of the same with prison,
And here's, bro, I've seen guys. This was always the toughest to see in there. Is you had guys coming in that, other than maybe smoke a joint here and there, drink whatever, they would come in, man, and start playing with that too, with that K2. And it's not, dude, it is not the Scooby Doo pack that the gas stations sell. It's the shit sprayed with that chemical that they get, that they change the molecules. They keep changing it. You buy it in China, and they're spraying it with it. And I'm talking about, this is the most potent shit. It smells like diesel fuel. It has the most unique smell. Like the cops smell it come in. They're like, "Oh, y'all got that. Y'all lighting that gook up." The cops are down. They know they call it what we call it. They live there. Like I said, they just get to go home for a few hours a night. But you'd see guys that didn't have problems like that, but just in a bad headspace, bro. Their life got fucked up and derailed from prison and decisions they made, and they're just in a bad spot, and they'd come in and start playing with that because they're like, "Well, I smoked weed on the street, so." And some of them, they never made their EOS state. I have been in dorms and seen people die on the floor in front of me. We've brought
Which
people back. When I tell you, it makes you. All I can think of is like your blood pressure does this so extreme that it's like it'll send you. It'll either make you have a seizure. Your heart will stop. Dude, it is the strongest, craziest. Like, these dudes have the most hallucinogenic. Dude, you just got to see. It's all on YouTube and TikTok and shit. Like, look at some of those guys in prison, like full blown convulsing, foaming. Okay, in 2016-17, virtually in any dormitory in the state of Florida institution, medical was doing rapid response calls, like on the shift in rotations. I lived in dorms where they would come and get somebody on a gurney 6-7 times in a day, rinse, repeat, day after day. They couldn't stop it from coming in. It was so strong that only a little bit of it could come in. They'd spread it out. It was out of control. Like, that drug ruined not only a lot of people's lives, but it ruined prison. Prison has never been the same in Florida since the introduction to Tucci. If there's anybody who's done time in Florida, like, I'd love to hear, them. They would probably they would echo that. It is a horrific drug. I've seen guys who were straight laced start messing with that, become a fiend on it. Next thing you know, they're getting their face sliced because they owe the dope man $200. You know what I mean? And it's like, I've seen so much of that it's normal. Like, that was normal. That was happening all the time. And it was just like, man, that dude wasn't even living like that. And he comes in here, and then this is what happens to him.
yeah,
And,
yeah,
so yeah, just going all the way, circling all the way back to, the quote unquote like fairy tale idea that you go into prison, that's how you'll get clean. No, I've seen the clean ones come into prison and their life was never the same again. So no, there's, rehabilitation is a word. It's not something that's proactive. Florida got out of the rehabilitation business, a decade and a half, 2 decades ago. It's human warehousing. And unfortunately now it's just warehousing addicts. Because, you see the young guys coming in, it's all addiction, bro. They're robbing, stealing, they're, whatever. It's all drug addiction related.
Yeah.
Either the addiction of getting the money around the drugs or the addiction of the actual dependency on the drug. So yeah, it's just
Which
ruined.
well, like I said, when this next content we get into, it'll be a lot.
Yeah,
A lot.
I want to like get into the different
Yeah.
variations of drugs and
So
how that
and this will probably be a series that we end up doing.
Oh, got to, yeah.
So but
Y'all know
we're
me, I'm long-winded as shit. Like y'all
yeah.
gotta
Well,
like y'all need to hold up signs or whatever. Like stop talking to me.
well, we're gonna end it here because if it gets
Yeah.
any darker, you're gonna have to smile for me to see you.
Oh man,
We
I
see
didn't
like a
think
little
about
light
that.
in the back. That's it.
It got crazy dark. But for anybody that's watching, if you guys want to hear a little bit more, like I said, we're gonna record some content here pretty soon, and we're gonna drop short form content on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and all that.
Yeah, I was
guys,
gonna say you're
to
more
be honest,
visible on
like,
the
for those,
phone.
it'll be some of the stuff will be the first time that even the people closest to my life are going to hear because I've talked about, let's say, the meat and potatoes, but all the side items throughout the years, like those are stories I haven't even gotten to the point where I've told that to anybody. Like there's so many things that you're going to hear it for the first time, but so is everybody else. Even the people that were with me the entire sentence, they don't know some of the stories. So yeah, I look forward to it because it's like I need part of it with me healing, bro, and just getting some of that mess out is I want to talk about it. And plus, I hope that I scare the crap out of a few people
To not want to go.
they never see the insides of those walls.
We gotta get you. We gotta get you on with Ian Bick.
Yeah,
I know I've talked about it multiple times before. So
yeah, I like his whole setup, man. His platform, that style, like
well, we did. We just talked about it recently, but you coming out here and then
we've had
and then we're
several
taking a trip.
conversations
Yes.
about that. Yeah, dude, and listen, I talked to Robin about that, and I was like, we can ride out there and hang with Jared and Bree, and then just everybody load up and
Road trip over to the
carpool to
studio.
Ian and hang out.
This lovely couch turns into a futon.
Hey, I lived a futon life for a while. I'm good.
It's comfy though.
But yeah, no, that like I said, that's good. We'll we're gonna get deep into some stuff, and I think this is gonna be good. So if you guys want to hear more, stay tuned for it, and we will be dropping some stuff pretty soon.
You go check out Chad's episode. We've done lives with him before.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know my story, check that out, and that'll give you the gist of my background and how I got to where I'm at now, and everything in between. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool to be able to share that on you guys' platform, and to really, the first time that I did that was with y'all. It felt good, and like I said, Blacklist is family. So
His episode was released on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh man, it was New Year's Day. Was that? Yeah, it was New Year's Day. So that was cool.
Yeah.
First one of the year.
Yeah, y'all have come a long way, bro. That's just some of the guests. It just blows my mind. I'm like, man, dude, they're getting some heavy hitters that are.
Well, the funny thing too is all the ones that are getting released right now are all ones that were recorded in the beginning of the year. So like all the heavy hitters aren't even dropping until later on in the year because of
awesome.
What we got. So
you got that inventory piled up.
Dude, it's a blessing and a curse, man. It's good, but then it sucks because it's like 4 months later, and it's like, but it's like, what do you do, man? Like, but that just goes to show though that like you're doing the damn thing. I mean, but we also during winter we like hammered that shit, 4 or 5 times a week for 6 months straight. So now summer comes, we only have to record once or twice a week, and we really could just sit on our ass if we wanted to and still have content throughout the year.
We're not going to do that, but it gives us.
No, I'm just saying,
it gives us the freedom.
I mean, to make the point, you've already got you've got that stuff.
That opens us up more to be able to start doing more like outreach events and
in the summer, there's a lot more events and traveling and stuff like that to go on. So we set ourselves up to have the freedom to be able to do that and not have to worry. About not having,
so we grind during the fall and the winter, and
we take our stuff with us when we travel, so we can, record in person.
Well, like
stuff like that.
Like this week, tomorrow morning we're loading up. We're going to Cleveland. We're staying the night, and then Sunday we're doing a podcast with Logan Bruce. He's been on our show before. He's a musician out of Ohio, recovering addict. He's been on our show before, but this is gonna be the first time of an in-person deal. So, that's awesome. Every time we travel, we go, we take our equipment on the road.
Road show.
Exactly.
And there's people in recovery everywhere. So
Oh
Anywhere
yeah,
we go, we will
there's
find
no
somebody.
demographic to that.
Yeah, we will find somebody and record with them in person.
And I do want to say, because I hit a little milestone today, and it's silly, but to me it's awesome. I hit 10,000 followers today.
I seen
Like,
that.
guys, I
Congrats.
can't put that in perspective. What that means. I've been on Facebook for 16 months. You know what I
You
mean? It's
had
just like,
I seen that when I went to go tag you in the comments.
you
So
had
you had 10K.
5,000. When I reached out to you, you had 5,000.
yeah.
So that just goes to show, you know.
And I cover a lot of things, bro. People follow me for completely different reasons that some do. Like, the recovery, prison. I'm huge college football fan, diehard Seminole. So I've got
That
an
college
entire
football shit is hitting. That's
Oh
that's
man,
what's popping
dude.
right now.
And that's the funnest stuff for me, man, because that's been my passion since I was a kid. So it's just like it does. It just I get in that little kid headspace and I make cool videos and kind of have that community of people that are like me. So it's like it's awesome.
It humanizes you to other people too. Like, there's
Yeah.
more
I'm not
to us
just
than
the
just
worst thing
talking
I
about
ever did.
recovery.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
So,
Well, hey, it's Friday night, man. Y'all hang out. This was awesome.
you know what our definition of hanging out is? We're gonna go to bed after this
That's mine.
because we got our drive to Cleveland in the morning. So
Y'all be safe for sure. Take your
yeah,
time.
yeah. All right, ladies and
All right.
gentlemen. Until next time, we are gonna sign off.
Love y'all.
Love you, man. Oh, let me end the stream.
Use that quick